All right, here we go. Restarting the Tuesday sessions. In case you look back for dated recordings, the last 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago, I did one, but I didn't record it because it was live from California. Last week I canceled because I was so damn tan. I didn't want to make others jealous. So we get going here. I missed a little bit. I traded some, but not enough from what I missed in the week. 10 days I was gone. Come back kind of slow late last week, and here we go today and yesterday. As we kind of, before I get into this I did what headline of today's session, I want to talk about current events here because Sunday into Monday, Hong Kong got into the driver's seat with their riots and unrest. Yesterday afternoon, China was apparently sending authority or police to a city on the Hong Kong-China border, created some bearishness. And then earlier today, today's August 12th, or August 13th, rather, if you're looking at this in the future, you could see some weakness around 10 a.m. because Hong Kong police were storming the airport, and those images created some uncertainty. Then, about 10 minutes ago, Trump backed up some really positive U.S.-China news earlier this morning by saying he delayed the tariffs to help a lot of people, quote unquote. Call with China was very productive, reiterates China would really like to make a deal. Now, earlier this morning, right after the 8:30 Central Open, we got two pieces of great headlines for the market. Number one was what? Was the, let me pull my pen down. First one took us from like 79. It was buyable, catchable, not straight up to 35, but eventually to the upper 35s. The first one didn't send us all the way up there. The first one is that the Chinese leader of their trade talks did talk to Lighthizer and Mnuchin, and that a very uncertain meeting in a couple weeks was certain. They're going to meet now. Because late last week at this time, there was going to be no meeting. They were going to cancel it. Remember Trump's remarks sent the market lower. Now this confirmed they're going to meet. All right, that's good. Then all of a sudden, there's a delay till middle of December on some tariffs, showing good faith. Created another leg higher. Like I said down in here, and like I said in here, this is a reprice during the trading room. This was a reprice piece of news. You guys, because everybody in here is an Edge member, know about that. Many of you guys caught this. You know how to diligently react now to news and how it's going to affect short, medium, and long term in the markets you're trading. You know what ancillaries to watch. Yens go down, bond prices go lower. On good news, stocks go higher, right? We know U.S.-China trade and this pending trade war has been negative for markets. Fed, central bank policies, number two. Hong Kong has jumped in. Iran was in. Now they're out as far as the effect that they've had on the market. Drivers are so important to keep on top of. It should be one of the things you do every morning. Read something that keeps you apprised to what's driving us. If you're not, you're missing too much. Our job is to miss less. So again, right people, right eyes and ears on the right stuff, or stuff that matters allows you to miss less. I don't care if you're trading in Ireland, like Dave moved, or not moved. He traveled there. He's around the right stuff, so he doesn't feel like he's missing what he would miss if he was trading alone. I'm not everyone's best friend. Each of us are each other's best friend. You can't have one. You have to have many. And that's what coming back to these meetings every week is, and the team room. And some of you guys got to listen into the team room. I got a lot of compliments. If people were on the fence, not that I got any critiques from it, but people who might have been on the fence had probably a lot to do with the fact that you couldn't talk. So the benefit of that room is that you could talk and listen. Trading room only guys didn't have the opportunity to talk, but they were able to listen in. So it obviously is a much better experience when you're able to communicate that way. Remember, going back to simple principles of what's going to help you. What's the best way to communicate? Oh, it's a novel idea by talking and listening. We don't do that these days. That's the most efficient way to do it. But anyhow, the what's in the market now, we know, you know, U.S.-China trade, Hong Kong to a lesser degree. Iran has not been a story for the last few weeks, but the central bank the Fed are coming in and out still, right? They want them to do a quarter September 18th, September 17, 18. They want them, they're 85% going to do a quarter, 25% going to do, or 15% going to do a half. That's where they're at now, or as of yesterday. So I think that if you're not watching the Fed, again, you're missing one of the drivers. If you have no idea about this trade war, tariff, you're crazy. You might as well be a plumber. They don't have to know about U.S.-China trade necessarily, unless they're in the material business. But as they are soldering a damn pipe or putting in a damn toilet, they don't care that Trump just said he had a good conversation, productive with China. They don't care at 8:35 this morning that they're going to meet in 2 weeks. And at 8:45 this morning that they were going to delay tariffs. All he has to remember is that I remember to put the wax ring on. So you got to know what's important, and most don't. You guys do. If not, you're closer than you were 10 seconds ago. Now, what else to get you up to speed? I'm in communication with Kepler, trying to work on something where he could come in and talk about popular profile retail trades that I've been working on. Had a great trip over there. I also talked to George, not the George you guys know. There's two Georges that have been pretty popular in the edge community. It's not those two guys, different George. And he happened to be out there. We met, spent like 3 days together, and just hanging out and talking. He's a trader, been trading a while, smart guy, good guy. And without trying to necessarily talk business and everything else, you just do, right? And especially when it's someone who's articulate and is down to earth and everything else like that. That's how he is. And so that's how those conversations, and they were great. And it reminded me about what I've been doing the last 4 months and what I'm starting to do with him and him for me. And then that is this whole aspect of coaching. And it brings this quote that I have up here, I did what? Meaning the example and metaphor I could use, and don't take offense to this, but we're all big boys and girls. There have been times maybe you had too much to drink, and the next day you said, I really did that? I've never said that, but maybe you guys have. That's what happens when you trade. The emotion you could replace the alcohol with. That emotion creates, like, I can't believe I did that. Now, I'm not selling coaching sessions to you guys when I'm talking about this, because I'm not even going to do any. Someone said I want to do one right now. I'd have to delay it. I might do another round. I might not. I'm just telling you what I've learned from him. And I'm telling you, I'm doing one with this guy for me, because I've seen the importance of it. I always knew the importance of it, but it slapped me in the face. And I'm going to tell you a couple examples. This whole I did what concept. And I know it's harder to listen than it is for me to illustrate and do all this stuff, but you got to pay attention to me. I'm never going to mention any names. And the guys might know that I'm talking about them, but I'm not going to mention names, never would. Verbal journal is one thing. When these guys do a coaching session, I give them, if they have Sierra Ninja, I give them this verbal journal. And I say to them, you got to use it to talk about why you did something in a particular trade. You know what one recording came back? I got short because I was bored. And then I ... All right? And when he's listening it back with me, we both snicker, laugh. He says, I can't believe I said that or did that. I got short because I was bored. But then it was the ... that justified the trade. Hey, if you're looking for a trade, you'll find it. If you're bored and you want to put on something, you'll find a reason to do it. It won't be hard. But the fact that he had to verbalize it, get it off his chest, and then go back and review it, and we listened to it, minimized him doing something like that again. I'm not saying he'll never do that again. I'm saying he minimized him doing that again in the future. Trading because you're bored. Trading because you want to get the money back that you just lost yesterday or 5 minutes ago. You want to find a reason to be bullish and long, bearish and short. How many people have felt that? How many people have felt like they put on trades not because they what they see, but how they feel. Because they want to get something that's outside their strategy. Whether it's boredom, whether it's anxiety because you lost money just a second ago, you got to get it back. You feel like crap. You don't like it. How many people could admit that? Everybody should say yes. Because we do it. You're not going to necessarily eliminate bad things, but you can minimize it. You could have fun drinking without blacking out, without being dangerous, right? You could minimize how bad things could get when you're emotional. So I did what? If the smartest guy in the world who trades could do the dumbest thing in the world. The smartest guy could do the dumbest thing. Bill Gates, Steve Jobs, brilliant guys could make the dumbest decisions in a trade. So nobody is excused or exempt from doing stupid stuff. We all got this little greed. Watch how bad of a drawer I am. We all got, this is a monkey. We all got looks like a teddy bear. We all got a greed monkey, I'll call it, inside of us. We all got it. And that's why the smartest guy in the world that has all his ducks in a row, right? Clean cut, organized, beautiful wife, great relationship, awesome kids, went to a great school, has a lot of money, a lot of success, and he's happy. He's truly happy. He does everything, not just money-wise. He's just a successful dude. He's still got a greed monster that if you connect with, he could do some stupid things. That's why really smart guys will buy some really stupid indicator that you would never think that guy would have bought that. Well, they did it because somehow the marketing got into his monkey, got talking to his greed monkey. And some of them, some of our greed monkeys are really big. Sometimes they're bigger than the person that we are. Sometimes they're very small. It takes longer to get to talk to that greed monster. So understand we all have that. I'm not inventing this concept. We all are greedy. We all are insecure to a certain extent. And we all want to control things. This is like, it doesn't matter if you are, some people have a problem with wanting to control things and are control freaks and let it ruin their life or run their life. Some people are so insecure they can't walk past people or go into a party and they let it affect their life. So they have problems with it, but everybody has insecurities and everybody has issues of wanting to control. Who wouldn't want to control everything? So we want to control people, we want to control environment. Some people are going to have a problem with it, some don't, but we have areas where we want to have more control than we actually can. Sometimes it ruins relationships, and oftentimes it'll ruin your trading. You can't control your price, but you can't control how you act and react. One of the guys that said, I think it was at Tony Robbins, says you can't control what happens to you, but you can decide how you react to it. It's very difficult and certainly easier said than done, but everything is easier said than done. When someone says to me, oh, yeah, that's easier said than done, I go, no shit, everything's easier said than done. That doesn't mean it wouldn't work. Doesn't mean you shouldn't try to implement it. So the whole point is you can't control how you react and feel, but you need accountability. You need coaches. Michael Jordan, best basketball player of all time, always had a coach, right? Championship boxers have trainers. They actually have cut men, right, to fix them up during the fight because they're going to get beat up. They're the best fighter of their life. They're still going to get hit. So there's a lot of great analogies I go over and over again. But the key is, and what I've learned, is how important these sessions are. And again, I'm not saying that when I do these again, everybody should sign up. I'm only doing a few because I don't want to hate doing them. If I had to do them all the time, I would hate doing them. I'm spreading them out because I actually look forward to working with these guys. And I've learned a lot from not only how important this is, but, how someone would forget about something that they did, which was critical had they not reviewed it. And I think that's one weakness it's definitely a huge weakness in this business, but it's one weakness in this group that there should be more trading buddies where you work out with someone physically, but how about with your trade review? And I've said this in past sessions, and I feel a little bit of an uptick, but I don't think people look at what they do critically every day, or at least a few times a week with someone else that, like I've said before, tell you suck because they want you to get better, not because they hate you. So I could say this a lot. How many people actually review more than they used to? But because in a prop firm, you had to. So let me illustrate some things that this is the difference between a retail guy, yes, and he's overweight, he looks like a retail tourist, and a guy who looks a little bit more professional. Now, a professional trader doesn't dress like this. This is just to illustrate cleaner cut guy. Sometimes a professional trader could actually dress like that, but you get the point. What makes forget about this stack of money and this percentage. What makes the difference between, what it takes to get and stay in this column and get and stay in that column? This is the retail column over here, and this is the professional column over here. And sometimes you jump back and forth. But a lot of times people don't even know really what the bullet points are to get your ASS in this column. They don't know what the bullet points are, what the requirements are. And even if they do, they don't do it. So guess what? You go back in there. These guys have no idea about what's driving the market, and they certainly aren't apprised to it in real time. And you know why? Because they heard someone somewhere say to them in a book or in a webinar, you can't catch different news that comes out. It's already priced in. Was it priced in at 8:34 this morning? Hell no. Like I'd be wrong. And even if it is priced in, you should know it. So what are the bullet points over here that you have to get and stay on? Yeah, I could put in some stuff, and maybe I do or will, but and they could change. But what's important? It's not education, even though that's important. It's what you did with the education. And it ain't even the execution, because that's important. Don't get me wrong. And the education's important, EDU and execution. But it's the review of what you did. It's the review, the video, the look at my swing to see if I am doing what I'm trained to do. Do I got to change my batting stance every at bat or every game? Hell no, nobody does. Very few guys change it during the course of a career. And if they do, yeah, they will, but a few times during the course of a long career, not between games. So many people do that. Working with another guy who said in the past he would have changed and threw his strategy out after 2 bad days. But he stripped out the money he was trading, reviewed what he was doing, and went on a winning streak. In the past, he would have said his strategy sucked, wouldn't have reviewed it. When he did review it, he realized it wasn't really his strategy. It was a couple of stupid things he was doing. Fixed a couple things and was still able to trade the next day. The difference between this column and this column is this guy could come back on Wednesday after a shitty Tuesday. This guy either doesn't come back, takes 2 days off, or does really something stupid on Wednesday just to get his bad Tuesday back. That's the difference. Yeah, both are trying to get the money back, but he's still doing what he did to have a bad day, fix a couple things, be consistent, put himself in a position to just continue to chip away. When you're down money and you're doing the right thing, you put yourself in a position to grab a headline. Down early, reversed when that news came out and caught not all that rally, but some of it to get back to even and above. Had I taken a trade that was crappy and ran away and said, this sucks, then I would have come back and said, not only did I have a loser, but I missed the winner or missed the opportunity for this upside. You got to be kidding me. So this guy puts himself in a position to come back the next trade the next day. This guy either doesn't come back, takes days off, throws out his strategy, or just takes flyers to get his money back. Big difference. Strip out the money. You know the saying, don't trade the money? You know the saying, let your winners run, cut your losers short? Okay, how? We know why, but how? The micro has been introduced, creating a huge advantage for people to actually trade and not think about the money. And another thing I found from these coaching sessions. Are you guys still there? I think my browser went down. All right. You guys are still there. You're seeing my charts here? You are? Okay, good. Well, that's what I'll go to. I don't know if I'm still recording. My browser went down. Yeah, still recording. All right. So good. I don't want to look at that slide anyways. Thanks, Warren. So the whole point of this session is what column, what side you're going to be on. In a prop firm, another guy I was working with did something that he wouldn't have been able to do in a prop firm. Who gives you the right to trade 5 E-minis? You ever traded 1 or 2 consistently for a month or 2? No. Well, then who the F gave you the right to trade 5? 5 minis I'm talking about. Because in a prop firm, you wouldn't have been able to. You sign a contract, and when you get a bump, you sign again, and you make amendments to those contracts. And a guy that goes above his size and lost money, they fired and they went after him, and he had to pay $5,000 in the trading loss. Why? Not because he lost it, because he traded double his size and lost it. So it never happened in a prop firm. You couldn't do the stupid stuff. That's part of training, is to not give the opportunity to do something stupid to someone. For instance, like my mom would say, don't argue with a 2-year-old not to go into the kitchen cabinets. Lock the damn cabinet. Move on. What are you going to do? Think you're going to train and debate a 2-year-old not to go in because of the chemicals underneath the kitchen sink? You don't want them to go into that room and there's no lock, put a key hole lock at the top. They'll stop going into it. Distract them. Don't debate them. So how could you strip yourself away from doing like dumb things? You want to work out and it's boring to get on a treadmill and you watch TV, you listen to music, find something that you do that you like to do and do it when you're walking on a treadmill. You don't have to run. Play a video game. You like play a video game? Play a video game when you're on a treadmill. But I mean, make it easy for yourself. And most people are thinking they're making it easy for themselves, and they're actually not. They're actually making it harder for themselves. Is it easy for guys to come and do 1-hour coaching sessions a week? They might look forward to it, but they also know, hey, there's time. But they're actually making their trading easier for them in the short, medium, and long run. And you don't have to do this. If I offer this coaching session again, you guys don't have to do it with me, but you got to do it with someone. And it can't be the same. Meaning, if I'm helping Michael Jordan, am I going to talk and coach him the same as a kid playing high school basketball? Of course not. So there's similar principles to helping each other, but not some concrete way to do it. But when people read books about trading psychology, they think that that's what they're solving their problem that they might have, and they're really not. The biggest weakness isn't the psychology. Yeah, that's maybe a weakness for some, but not the biggest. And it's not the education. Maybe that's a problem for some, but not the biggest problem. And it ain't the execution. Yeah, maybe that's a problem, but not the biggest problem. It's reviewing what you do so someone could tell you you suck. Nobody wants to be told that they suck. But in a prop firm, those 2 columns on that slide, you'd have to be told that. I know this working 7 years in a prop firm. Changed me because in a pit, I didn't have to worry about reviewing my trades. Didn't have to tell someone why I did something or why I couldn't do something. So it was easier not to do something. In a prop firm, you had to go over what you did. And I don't have the time to do that for everyone, but you guys should, for each other, with each other, find a way to do it. It's just been a big eye opener to me, working personally with people on finding things that were obvious that they missed, that they were thinking, avoiding some really dumb, dangerous techniques that they used, that they had. Trying, again, all this is giving them the best chance to do it. The micros have made it helpful, and this is how I'll wrap it up, because you know that what I was saying before my browser went down was, you know, the saying, don't trade the money. Great. How do I do that, though? Because you're doing it for the money. How do you not trade the money? How do you put yourself in a disposition of a carpenter who isn't thinking about exactly every dollar he's making on that job every time he measures and cuts, right? He's not thinking about, all right, this is a $2 cut. Every time I do my tape measure, it's 50 cents, right? He's thinking about how to finish the deck, make sure he does what he needs to do that day. The thing is, when he's done, you actually see a deck finished. When a hairstylist is done, 10 people look different than they did before they seen the hairstylist. When the bricklayer is done, there's a wall there. When the trader is done, what do? We didn't do anything. We moved some numbers around. We didn't build anything. We didn't change anything. Yeah, it could have changed the money in our account, but nothing physical, nothing tangible. So it's really difficult in this business to not trade the money, because that's obviously what everybody's doing, but it's what we're doing more directly than anybody else. And then we're not supposed to trade it. How do you do that? So the micro comes along, and a lot, because in the sim environment sucks. I think a sim environment is great if you're teaching someone. It's great if you are practicing the functionality of the dome, but you know it's not real. You're going to do dumb things on there. You're going to actually start to have bad muscle memory and encourage bad behavior. But anyway, sim and demo. And then how many times have you traded on sim till you started making money, you feel good, and then as soon as you go real, you lose money? How many times have I heard that? Or how many times has that happened to you? Sim, winner, real, loser. 3 days on sim. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, up. Thursday, I'm going live, down. Whether it's from day to day or week to week, or hit a winning month on sim, I'm going February, I'm going live. First week, I'm down money. My first week in January on sim, guy was up a ton. Second week, okay. Third week, lost a little. Fourth week, did great January. I'm going live February, they lose. Hold on. I'm here listening to the news. Christine, re-ask that question. So what that happens to who? Which part? What specific did I say that you're asking about? But moving on to how do you strip out the money? The micro contract comes around, because here, let's face it, this E-mini contract is, as you guys know, is $12.50 a tick, right? The NASDAQ's $5 a tick, but really moves fast. Bonds are 31 quarter a tick. Oil is $10 a tick. Gold, $10 a tick. Currencies anywhere from $10 to $12.50 a tick. I got to get rid of my take care of that disk problem. The issue or the problem is it's hard to trade anything cheap or inexpensive. So it becomes where it's only trading live or trading on demo. But to trade live, and like I said, I think a few weeks ago in the session, $500, I don't care if you're worth $5 million or $5, $500 is a lot of money. It's not about how much money you have. It's about how much money it could buy. So when you trade 2 lots, 1 lot with $12.50 a tick, you could very easily lose 40 ticks, which is $500, which gets you pissed and makes it tougher to come back the next trade the next day, right? Very easy to lose 40 ticks in the S&Ps or oil, or 100 ticks in the NASDAQ, right? Very easy. So when you start trading something that's hard to trade, small, hard to trade, less expensive, you're going to trade the money. It's there. It's in front of you. It starts to count because it gets bigger. The micro allows you to have skin in the game and actually not give an SHIT about the money as much as you would when it adds up. Now you're really getting good muscle memory, good practice, because you are thinking about the money, but a lot less of it. And you're thinking about the structure, the contracts, the execution, the fundamentals, the driver, the stupidity, and you actually have something to review, and you review it the right way. So the question is, what do I say to people that happens to? And the question is pointed to, they make money and on sim, and when they lose, when they go live. Stop trading on sim is what I would say, especially now with the introduction of these micros. Stop trading on sim. You now have a better first step into live trading. And these micros, like I said, when we talked about the introduction of these things before they released in early May, we did a preview in one of these sessions. I said this is going to be a great contract if it's liquid at each price, which means you can get in and out at each price. It not only was and is, it's becoming more liquid and more popular. It's a game changer for people to give themselves a better chance to do this and leg into not trading the money, just trading what they see, not what they feel, or not what they think, which is in turn what they feel. The CME did it for that reason, and also to attract liquidity from people who traded Forex for that reason, because Forex cash markets were cheap to trade, whereas some of them are $1 or 10 cents. I don't even know what it is. But that's a crazy, stupid market anyways, Forex. If you're going to trade Forex now because of these micros, you might as well just trade. You'd be crazy not to trade futures. 10 out of 10 people that I've ever spoken to that started in Forex and then found out about futures, 10 out of 10 of them would always say they wish they'd have found futures first. They hated Forex. So now the CME has this contract to these cheaper Forex currency markets that give you liquidity, that give you an inexpensive way to trade. Yeah, the commissions aren't as proportional to what they are on the 1250 contract, but who cares? You're not trading the money, right? And there will be price pressures on the micro commissions. They already have. There already has been. You're trading money without trading the money. And write that down. I'm trading for money, but not for the money. I'm trading for money, but not thinking about the money. That's hard to do, but you got to, how do other people will say as soon as you say it, you're thinking about it, and then they'd be correct. So don't try to eliminate thinking about the money. Minimize it. You're not going to eliminate making stupid decisions in life or in trading. Minimize it. I'm not going to eliminate any fight I ever have with my wife, but minimize it, right? I'm not going to eliminate my kids being in bad situations as they get out there. How about minimizing it? How about giving them the tools to make a good decision in a bad situation? That's a lot what trading is. Make a good decision in a bad situation. You're short, the market's rallying, boom, something positive comes out, bullish for the markets. You not only had a bad situation, you put yourself in a position to make a good decision with a bad position and reversed and got long and actually made more money because you caught a bullish reaction to a bullish headline. Why? Did you get lucky? No, you put yourself in a position to understand what's driving the market, to anticipate a headline, to subscribe to the room or to a news source to hear the headline, and train to diligently react to the damn thing. So you're not thinking, you're reacting. Where's the brake pedal? Is someone in my blind spots? Bam. You're in the guy's back seat. No. Kick over to the right lane. Oh, that was close. There could have been someone in your blind spot. And I just checked it before I seen the asshole in front of me jam on his brakes. That's a good driver. He's aware of his situation. So I hope today's help it has a lot to do with some feedback and interaction, what I've learned from these coaching sessions, how it's driven me to do one with someone else, meaning, help me. Everybody needs to get fed, so to speak. And I also did this session because I think people have that as one of their weak parts of their trading. And there's an easy way to know if that's weak in your trading is, do you do it? If you don't do it, then that's a huge weakness in your trading, because hey, it's easy to know that if you're not trading well, that you need some help. You need to talk to someone, go over what you're doing. That's easy to say when you're not doing well that you need help. But you also could do better when you're doing good and don't realize it. I left a lot of money on the table early in my career because I left a little early, or I'd leave after I was up a certain amount, or and I would miss opportunity. And not because I was up a certain amount, but hey, I want to get out of there, whatever. And then I caught myself and started staying later when the bonds came online. They were trading till 2:00. I seen someone that came in and was trading, made an extra couple thousand a day. And next thing you know, not only did I start staying later and doing that, but then I also started trading the bonds early in the morning. And I went from trading a $10 product in Euro stocks to a 31/4 tick in the bonds. And the bonds were moving a lot more back then. The point is that when you're trading good, when you're doing good, you actually could use the help even more to do better and maximize the results, because maybe the markets that you're doing really well in aren't going to be around in 2 years. So maximize the opportunity. It's easier to build muscle mass when you're 20 than when you're 40. Now, those questions are, and I'll repeat the question, but I don't have any data on this. I don't know. And it's going to be varied, and it's going to be from a wide spectrum, too many subjective variables. And the question is, how long have your guys traded the micro before transitioning to the mini? Well, the micro just started in May, number one. Number two, I don't have stats on that. And I don't know if I'd ever have stats on that. I think you have to maybe wait for a year or two. And again, what's the difference? Let's say I knew the answer to that. Let's say it was 2 months. But for you, it might be 4 months. But because I told you 2 months, all of a sudden you might get nervous and you never got to your 4th month because you thought you were supposed to do it in 2 months. So I don't blame that question. It's not a bad question. But who gives a shit of the answer? How long is it going to take for you to go to the micros, to the minis? Forget about anybody else. How about you? How long do you think it'll take you? Because someone else is doing something different and could create a longer or shorter time horizon for anything. How long should it take me to get married? Some of you guys might take a long time, by the way you look. But me, to fight them off. If I lived in Utah, I could have 10 wives in 10 days. Especially with the tan that I got. Micro to mini, that should be the new chant. And then maybe back to the micro, because you're trading like crap. But the weakness is not how long it's taking you to go from one to the other, sim to real, all that stuff. The weakness is, are you working with someone? You're working out. Like when you're trading, that's like being on the field throwing the ball. But how about when the game is over? You going working out with someone else? Or are you watching YouTube videos? Or nonsense, right? And you could still do that, but did you actually lift weights? What would be, and I don't want your answer it to yourself, but what is your answer to, this is the comp to working out, lifting weights for an athlete in the off season, keeping himself in shape, getting stronger with a trainer? Because certain guys should, in certain sports should lift weights certain ways, right? So they have trainers and then they actually go and work out, lift weights, right? They're not scoring points when they're in the gym. They're working on their muscles. What are you doing to lift weights? This is part of it, coming to these Tuesday sessions for sure. This is part of it. But that's like going to the gym for 10 minutes too, at times. Maybe it's like going to the gym once a week instead of 4 times a week. It's going to be hard to get in shape going to the gym once a week. And again, to answer the question about trying to look at averages as benchmarks, I don't think the average is a benchmark. I think that if there was an answer of how long does it take, if there was an answer, and there's just not enough time to come up with an average, but let's say there was an average of how long it would take to go on average from micro to mini, to me, it's so subjective that it means the same as, you know, what color hair is your wife? Well, you know, what color hair are the wives or the guys who go from the micro to the mini? I think it's as insignificant as that. Again, not a bad question. I don't know the significance. I think it caused more harm than good if you knew that answer. Maybe it takes one guy 2 months or 1 month because he worked his ass off and he's really smart. And then it took another couple guys 4 months because they were slow or didn't do the work. And all of a sudden it skewed the average. So again, too many variables to worry about what the answer could be. Narish, I can't tell you. What do you got? Sierra? Do you got Sierra and the edge zones? Or am I giving you my settings for the Gomi guy and for Ninja? All right. That's fine. And I'll give them to you. I'll throw them up. That's what I'm using. And you could tweak them. This isn't gospel. Again, the benchmarks for people to say how long should it take? It depends on how much effort you're putting into it. Like in a prop firm, it was like 7 or 8 months. But guess what? Those guys are working harder than probably anyone in here is. They had the tools, the resources, the time, the accountability, and they still gave them 7 or 8, 9 months. Not to make money, but to turn the corner and not to stop losing money. So again, too many variables. Life will tell you how long is too long. I always said markets are in everything. Life has a way of putting you where you need to be. But one of the things that, forget about all of it. I don't have an answer to that. You're asking me the same question a different way. I don't have an answer for any of it. I don't give them. I don't have them. You might as well be asking me to do this session in Spanish. I can't do it. And that's actually more relevant because there might be Spanish speaking people that would understand it better than how long do I give different people. It depends on how much you're doing and what you're doing and how you're doing it and who you're doing it with and what kind of resources you have. I mean, think about a prop firm. You weren't just trading in a prop firm and all those tools. You had to be interviewed. You had to get past that filter. So who knows? Don't let those numbers get you excited or get you disappointed. That's why they're irrelevant. Because if it's a number that's too high, you might say, oh, I got a lot of time. I can be patient. If it's a small number, like, oh, this guy did it in a month, you could be too impatient and emotional. You see results from working out after X amount of days, not because of that day. The guy was talking about you don't just love someone, wake up one day and say, I love my wife. If you truly love someone, your wife, your husband, it's because all small incremental things that have added up over knowing a person. When you work out, you start to see change maybe on the 21st day. It's not because what you did on the 20th day, it's all the incremental improvements for 20 days. And you just happen to notice the change on the 21st day. That's you. Me, I can notice a change in 3 days. I noticed the change in how I fix my hair. If I don't want a lot of attention, I won't fix it as nice. How's that? All right, Naresh, you're welcome. And I think new theory in life, I disagree with anyone who says self-praise is to be frowned upon. Compliment yourself. People will know if you're egotistical or narcissistic. But if you can't compliment yourself, who can you compliment? All right, guys. Hopefully you guys are also in the trading room. If you're not, you got to be or you should be. You're coming to these things, come into the room. If it's $99 and that's too much, you're in the wrong business. I'm going to grandfather people in. I haven't made this announcement. I'm going to tell you guys first. But if you pay $99, you're going to stay at $99. But I'm going to raise it for new people after a certain date. Don't know when. We're going to shake out. I only want people that well, serious about it, right? But keep working. Don't forget you got weaknesses. Address them. Don't just analyze them or talk about, address them. Because in trading, if you stay overweight, you can't just buy a bigger size. Eventually, you just got to stop trading. You get fatter, you could buy a bigger waist size, maybe still look decent. No, you're going to have to lose weight. You're going to have to exercise. You're going to have to eat right. We'll see you guys next week.